Hello, 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 and welcome back to Fair Fight, North Carolina. I'm your host, Bobby Jones, once again with the subject matter expert himself, Mr. Scott Peoples. Um, it's been a little bit since we've been on, but that's because Scott has been busy. A big time event that happened in the great state of North Carolina. One VIP from out of state, another big VIP in state. Both are veterans of renown. So, Scott, I'll let you talk a little bit about what you got to take part in and who you got to introduce.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, it was a really cool event, not only for VFRL getting able to be a part of it, but for the North Carolina Democratic Party and pro-democracy veterans across the state. Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, definitely one of the most high-profile veterans we have in Congress. A rising star, but also something our current Attorney General and a potential Senate candidate in the future, Jeff Jackson, who's currently in the Army National Guard as a major, and then as we all know, Mark Kelly is a former Navy combat pilot. So they were in town. Mark Kelly was in town. Doing some campaign stops with Roy Cooper, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Getting ready for his, Senate race next year. But it was a really cool event where it was over 300 veterans across North Carolina. We had talked to people that came from all over the state that wanted to come here. Both these, fine leaders speak, and I got to moderate the event, so I got to interview both of them and learned a lot. They were there really, talking about the cuts to the VA and what Mark Kelly's seeing in Congress, and then what Jeff Jackson's seeing across North Carolina, and then how we can push back against Trump's policies. So for people that are looking at their screens and worried about every day, going to events like this is really uplifting because you see people that are really passionate about wanting to help veterans make a difference, and as a veteran, how they can use their voice. So it was a really good platform for us all kind of get together as a community.
I think that's huge because it's interesting. I've been hearing from various people from around the country in the most random ways, Substack, Twitter, whatever, that people feel a little bit alone because things seem to be happening again so rapidly, so pronounced. I mean, you mentioned off camera, we were talking about, the deployment of the National Guard, how much that's costing a day. And when you go and actually see the National Guard in DC, you can tell morale is low. But people are noticing. People are speaking up, and Congress is back in session, and things have become very interesting, and I think will continue to become interesting. Scott, let me ask you this: as far as how this fits into North Carolina moving forward with the midterms in 2028, are we starting to see candidates really move to the forefront, and if so, who and why and how?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so the main purpose of Mark Kelly being out there was to support the Democratic nominee for Senate North Carolina, former Governor Roy Cooper, who just a few weeks ago announced his candidacy, really got millions of dollars of grassroots donors right off the bat. And it's pretty much set. I think he's going to clear I don't think anyone's going to challenge him, knowing his history in the state, former governor, former attorney general, former state senator. He's done it all,
Mm.
never lost an election. And on the Republican side, Trump coronated Michael Whatley, who most recently was head of the RNC with Laura Trump. And before that was kind of your typical Bush Republican prior to Trump coming onto the scene, but like the same old story. He saw where he could rise to prominence in the party and was one of the prominent election deniers in 2020. Very closely affiliated with Cleta Mitchell, who you may know in Georgia, a prominent election denier who was big on trying to get the Georgia election overturned in 2020. Michael Whatley's made some statements about how it was because of him that the Democrats couldn't steal North Carolina in 2020 because everything he did to shore up our elections never provided any proof or anything like that, but likes to just poison the well when it comes to elections in North Carolina, even though there's never been any fraud found or any of the likes of that. So, top notch election denier, top notch Trump bootlicker. He'll be like Ted Budd, who's up in 2028, will do whatever Trump wants, whatever Trump says. Not very charismatic. He's never run for office before. He's mainly been more of a political operative. So, it's a really prime opportunity for Democrats to pick it up if Roy Cooper can run a solid race, and with his histories, he's never done anything but run a solid race. So that's definitely going to be one of the watch, and the money's definitely going to be pouring in. So.
Wow. And once again, to recap, you have a seasoned, proven political leader that led the entire state, and Roy Cooper running for Senate against basically one of Trump's henchmen, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term. So,
Yeah.
no, yeah, North Carolina, you once again, you have an important decision to make, and very often the way North Carolina goes is the way the country goes. So hopefully you will make the right decision. Scott, I want to thank you for joining us yet again, and we will continue to come with the updates because again, North Carolina is ground zero for a lot of the stuff we're dealing with. So we'll keep you informed. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.